Next up, we have the first open bodybuilding show in the post-Olympia tour. So the British Grand Prix is finally underway. And before we talk about the favorites, who are Michael Krizo, James Hollingshead, Sazan Hirati, let me just say that Juan Pradels, the young Spanish guy who could not make it to the stage earlier this year at China Pro. I have to say, in the first impression here, he looks absolutely sensational. In fact, I have got to say way better than expected. So this is a look of a bodybuilder who worked very hard, 2 years straight, and the results are finally showing. Way more size, way better overall aesthetics this time around. But that being said, I must say the back on him, that is also looking a bit more wider, a bit more denser. But he's still lacking that muscle maturity and a bit of conditioning too, especially in the upper back. And by the way, also a huge shout out to the organizers here for making the live stream free for all the bodybuilding fans out there. Now, the biceps on Michael Krizo, they are just showstoppers. He has some of those structural issues with a wider waistline, the obliques, but damn, he looks very round and very full with some ginormous size right there. So you compare his front double biceps to a guy like Sazan Hirati, who is the second favorite to win this show, and just take a look at the difference in the size department in the arms alone that makes this comparison so astonishing. So Sazan, as always, he is ripped to the bone, has a super tight midsection, very amazing front shots, so there is never a question mark on Sazan's conditioning, and today isn't any different either. So James Hollingshead kind of went into a little controversy just a week before the show with a coaching change, but here the man is. So a lot of very hard, very dense looking muscles, but the question is, how it's gonna look like in those comparisons next to all these other guys, because that is where James has been getting exposed in some of the previous shows that he did throughout this year. So this is definitely a bigger package from Michael Krizo compared to what we saw a few months back at the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro. But there was no compromise on the conditioning aspect. So I was waiting for him to turn around and hit those back shots to see whether the hamstrings and the glutes, they are in. And they definitely are. Easily the most impressive guy in this lineup so far, and even his back double biceps, that looks a lot more improved, which was one of the major weaknesses, one of the major reasons why he took such a long break